Welcome to the Undercover Intuitives Podcast. I'm Courtney Jones. I'm an intuitive leadership coach, author, and medium. I love facilitating rich conversations that inspire, uplift, and empower people to create extraordinary outcomes in their lives and in their communities. In this podcast, we meet people who have followed their intuition to create amazing things. You may not know them. They may not be celebrities or have massive social media followings. They're people like you and me, working undercover to have a positive impact in the world. Hi, thanks for joining for this episode of Undercover Intuitive Podcast. Today we're speaking with the amazing Abizer Kapasi. He is an intuitive coach, an artist, and a property flipper. He has made a rich and full life for himself by following his intuition and guidance and just going with his heart. So I really think you're going to enjoy this chat today. Abiza, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'm very glad to be here.
It's nice to have you. And I think when you and I talked about doing this episode, we thought we're just going to see what comes. We'll see, what happens, what unfolds, and what we can share that will inspire and intrigue people. And there's so many strings to your bow. You've got a very rich and full life. So I think there's a lot of interesting aspects about how you create.
Yes.
I'd like to start first, perhaps, by finding out a little bit more about your intuitive coaching. Tell us about what that is, what that means, and how you serve the people that you work with.
Yeah, absolutely. So with intuitive coaching, I have been training for the past 2 years with this, and I'm in a phase where it's an initial stage and where I'm just doing readings for people. The point for this is to be of service to others, right? And a lot of times, I think it's pretty much like on an everyday basis, people are running with their subconscious mind, and that's pretty much 95% of their time. It's already written, they're already in the known, they're doing it based on everyday thing. And what I'm trying to do is to let them know that you can do things out of the norm. You can get out of the 95% and push that 5% of conscious mind to 10% to maybe 15%. And that's where intuitive coaching helps. So I am in the place where I'm setting up a full yearly program. But at the moment, I am just doing greatness readings. I'm doing readings to let them know what's happening in your life, to let them know what can be the steps, and to help them in their journey. And the reason that's happening is because it's creating joy. It's creating joy in my life. It's creating joy in their life. And at the end of the day, when you know what you're here to do, it brings a huge difference. And that's what intuitive coaching is about.
Yeah. And that knowing is what really fascinates me, is understanding how people recognize when something is a calling or a knowing or recognizing their intuition. So, this sounds like it's a pretty kind of off the beaten track career. How did you get into this, and how did you know? How did you come to connect with that knowing that this is what you wanted to do and needed to do?
Right. I will answer this question in two different ways. One of them is the way that I use the magical part. And then for the listeners who are not aware of this, I'll use a logical method as well.
Okay.
Right. So with the magical part, it is where, so I did the courses. I did the courses in which I understood what my purpose is out here. Right. Knowing your purpose is a powerful act for yourself. And throughout this course, throughout these learnings, I understood that this is my purpose, to help, in service of each other. And to be honest, for each and every person in this world, we can achieve everything whatever we want. what is the end result of all of it? Right? Yeah, if success is done, everything is done. What are you going to do next? The next thing is to help others.
Yeah.
Right? That's where we lie. So what my purpose is that why wait for that end result when you can create it now?
Right.
Right? So why wait till you achieve everything and then help others? Why can't you help others now? So
Right.
when we are able to help others now, we are achieving that ultimate end result, that ultimate success, right? And when I understood those facts, I knew that this is my purpose. This is what I want to do. And in terms of a logical sense, I'll just give an example. Um, as in, like if you're wanting a car, right? Oh, it's a Honda car, it's yellow color, right? Then there is your RAS, so that's the reticular articulate system, activation system. Sorry. What your RAS does is that it starts seeing yellow cars everywhere. It starts seeing those cars, and what your mindset is saying, what your brain is saying, that I need to buy that car. That is my purpose. That's for a lot of people, it'll be like, oh yeah, that like God is giving me some kind of a hint that go buy that car.
Right. It's a sign.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
sign. It's a sign, right? So in the logical sense, you get to know, oh yeah, this is my purpose, right? And then you go do that. So
Right.
that's where a logical sense comes in, and that's the RAS. But then what we are trying to do, what I'm trying to do, is that use that intuitive sense and go for the purpose, and
Right.
that's about yeah.
So I really struggled with this word purpose for a long time, and we use it, we throw it about quite often, and what's my purpose, and this is my purpose, and I've often felt that people feel a lot of pressure about discovering their purpose. It's like if they have it and it's written on a piece of paper and they can say this is my purpose, then they can get on with doing it. Do you feel that do you feel that pressure, or do you see that pressure in your clients, and how do you guide the people you work with to start to realize their purpose without feeling that stress of I must know so I can get going? Is that through the greatness readings that you do, or how do you help people unpack that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so a very good question. Purpose here, right? It puts a lot of pressure on us, and knowing what you're meant to do in your whole life, it's like a humongous thing. And what what I suggest and what I do is that you already have that innate nature. You already know it as a human. You already know what you're here to do. So there is nothing as such as, oh, I need to search for it. It's going to be I'm going to spend my whole life trying to figure out what I'm here for. That's not the case, right? You already know it. And how do we find that? Right? How do we find that is through actually listening to yourself, right?
Yeah.
The biggest thing is the awareness of who you are. And it's actually written in a lot of, like, it's written in Bible, it's written in Quran, it's written in all these holy books, is know thyself,
Yeah.
right? By knowing yourself is knowing what your purpose is, right? So the first and foremost purpose that you're here to do is know yourself. When you know yourself, things will flow. All right. So that's what I see it as. Like, a lot of people have different kinds of purposes.
Yeah.
We don't know what it is, but what's the main purpose is
Yeah.
knowing yourself. And when you know yourself, things will start flowing. It will
Yeah.
come. That's what I use it. That's what I use as a process. Know yourself, other things will flow. You will.
Right. So would you agree that then, as you're, increasing your awareness of yourself and your patterns and beliefs and behaviors, that through different phases, your purpose for that life stage, it can change and evolve? Do you feel like purpose is always an evolving, growing thing?
Absolutely. It's an evolving, it's a pruning thing. Like,
Yeah.
you keep pruning yourself, you keep knowing yourself more and more. And there is this definition of also the trust that, oh yeah, now that I know myself, I trust that this is my purpose.
Yeah.
Right? That relationship between yourself and your purpose comes with that thing trust. And trust is can be used very it's in the way that I think trust is not the best way to move forward.
Yeah.
Because trust is putting all your reliability on your purpose, and this is what it is. That's what it is. I trust this. That's what. Like, that's the end, and that's not it. Right? What it is that this is your purpose. You now know. You go for it.
Yeah.
There's no trust in that because it's a knowing. Right?
Yeah.
Not. It's not hoping. It's a knowing.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
You just go for it, and there is a way, like, there is a result out of when you're knowing it, and that result is joy.
Yeah.
Right? You're not laughing, you're not smiling, it is creating joy. And when that joy is created, you know that there is that innate happiness, that you are living a purpose, you are creating something. If that doesn't bring you joy, you know that there's something off about it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And there is something which is troubling you. Right? And well, now you know that that's not your purpose. So you move to the next one and you keep going, but you just keep going for it. You don't trust it. You just go for it because
Right.
that's what you're meant to do. Yeah.
So it's almost like you're taking back the power and the, like the responsibility and saying, this is my target. I'm just aiming for the target rather than saying, I'm just trusting and hoping and praying that it'll all figure out. So it kind of does give you back that power and inspiration to go forward once you understand what it is that you're going for. So when you're helping your clients to know themselves and to understand what it is that they're going for, is that where the greatness readings come in? And what does that entail? What's your process for that?
Yeah, 100%. And that's where you're spot on. That's where the greatness readings come in, right? We are on an everyday basis, we're not usually aware that we are 100% powerful. We are not aware how much ego is playing in our life and how the ego is driving us. And you know what? Like the ego has got a bad name. It's not bad. The ego's purpose is to keep you safe, to keep you healthy, to keep you going on, right? To keep you in the known environment. And there is nothing wrong in that, but it is stopping you from creating what you want to create, right? And then when it comes to your greatness or your genius or what you're here to do, it is powerful, it is purposeful, and you can't create purpose in the knowing in your everyday life. You can create that only when you're in your genius, when you're in your greatness, when you know what you have to do. And that's what I do. So the readings entail doing greatness readings on people, telling them what power that they have, what are their abilities, what are the skills, what they can do, and just knowing that it's not praising, it's not praising, it's actually who you are. And I've had clients which think, oh yeah, this guy's telling such good things about me. I feel so honored. I feel so happy. I feel so proud. No, that's not it. It is you. And that acknowledgement, that accepting that, hey, it is me. I am that powerful being. It changes, it shifts you. And when you're in that known that you are powerful, you are able to go in the unknown to create whatever you want. Because even in the unknown, you know that you are powerful. You are that great being.
Yeah.
And that's what I do to talk about.
So you're tuning into their energy and picking up that energetic impression and what you're sensing for their true nature, for who they are in their true nature.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's interesting because I think it's important to understand that it's not about stroking somebody's ego or blowing smoke. It's about connecting with their heart, with their truth, and saying, this is what I see for you. And I think that's sometimes that I come across myself is you see greatness in other people and you see what they're truly capable of, and if they could see that for themselves, it would be a paradigm shift. It would be a quantum leap forward for them. So it is about that gentle nudging and support to help them have that awareness for themselves to connect with that. But I also like what you mentioned about the ego not being the enemy, because there's a lot of, I guess, conversation and activity out there about destroy the ego, release the ego, quieten your ego. And it feels like, yeah, we've been told that our ego is our enemy, but it's really a mechanism for helping us to, understand who we are on a different level, but like to orientate us to a place of, this is who I show up as. And do you believe that through this self-knowing and this understanding of your genius that you can, get your ego to be on side and to not be maybe sabotaging you with those self-doubt, negative self-talk, and those strategies that stop you from really going for it?
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think ego's part, I believe that ego's part is very, very important in our life as well, because um it is helping you to keep you safe, right? Throughout your whole childhood, teenage, or even your adult years, you get to know that ego has been pushing you to achieve something that will keep you safe,
Yeah.
right? Even as a teenager, right? Like you've got these goals, you want to go to uni, or you want to travel, you want to do this, that, blah, etc. You go and do it, right? You save the money, you achieve those, and then now that you've achieved that, then the lethargic self comes around, right? The lethargic, or like, okay, what am I going to do now? Like, I've achieved the basics, right? So that's what the ego is about. Achieve the basics, right? Have a roof on top of your head,
Yeah.
have enough money, have the basic needs covered. Once the basic needs are covered, sweet, I'm happy. And then what happens after that is that now your mind is starting to play. It's like, what's next, right? That's the human's innate desire. What's next for me? And when you are stepping into going to the next, your ego comes in. Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
We are
Okay.
safe. We have created whatever we want. We've got a roof on top of our heads. We've got food on the table. We've got money. We've got etc. Pull back, and that's the relationship. So now you as a human are trying to create something, but the ego is pulling you back. So that's where that tension is created.
Yeah.
So there is nothing wrong that the ego is doing. The ego's purpose is to make sure you're safe. But what you as a genius wants to do is neutralize it. Be like, yep, ego, I hear you. All right, I hear you, but I'm still going to go ahead with this, and because this is my purpose. I'm not leaving you behind. You are coming with me wherever
Yeah.
I.
Yeah. Okay. Not leaving it behind.
Yeah, I'm not leaving you behind. You will tell me. You are able to tell me what's wrong, what's happening, right?
Yeah.
Any point in my life. So my relationship with you stays, but I'm still going to choose what I want to do. So
Right.
that's the relationship. So ego is nothing bad. In a way, it is helping you to know your true self.
So it's kind of it's all about the comfort zone and maintaining status quo and keeping us in that space that we know, okay, this is okay, I've got this, I can handle this. But then you're saying you've got that genius part of you, your truth and your purpose that is pulling you towards something else. How do you distinguish between when the ego is striving for a goal like bigger house, more money, better job, whatever, and when it's a purpose-driven goal? What's your internal process, or what does it look like for you when you're kind of working towards something?
Yeah, 100%. So um, the biggest thing where the ego plays in is when there's conflict. So there's a conflict of um, idea, or there's an actual conflict, like you're arguing with someone, or one of the biggest thing is arguing with yourself. All right? When that pops up, it's like, shit, like something's stopping me to create that joy, right? And that's where your ego is not playing. That's where that it is hindering in your process. And there is a process that I use in my coaching is actually a conflict deconstruction process, right? You get to know you get to know what it actually is, what the problem is. You get to know the meaning of the problem and
Right.
what the belief is behind that problem, right?
Right.
What is it telling you? That are you insignificant, or do you feel do you not feel loved, or do you feel like you're not being taken care of, or do you feel you're not deserved? So these are the the base beliefs that come in the middle. And like I said before, now that you're aware of this conflict that has come, you're aware that this belief is playing, then you've got the power to say, hey, I am deserving, I am loved, I'm loved by myself, right? I am powerful, and I can, no matter what, go ahead in my life. I can keep creating. So that's the relationship. So yeah, that's what I use to keep pushing on, even if the ego plays in the middle. Yeah.
So you're at that point, you have a choice to listen to what the ego is telling you. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve. This will never work. Stay in the comfort zone. Or you can choose to get a little bit uncomfortable and try new things and spread out further and further.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And can I just add something to this? This is where that this is where will actually comes in place. And again, will is another word that has a bad meaning to it. It's like, oh, will is very. It's not. It's will is a very finite thing, and there are beliefs of what will actually is, but will is actually just a trigger. It's
Right.
just a trigger to choose, right? You are in a conflict. You use your will to just choose, hey, I know this is going wrong, but let me just work on this. I
Yeah.
am willing to work on it. And once that will has taken place, then you just go for it. And then you're doing your deconstruction, you're working through it, you're getting to know what it is about, and then you go forward.
Right. So will, it sounds like it's like a muscle, and the more you apply it and do it, the stronger it gets and the easier it becomes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. So I like this, and it's all, all makes sense and lines up with my experience in this lifetime. And I think it's really interesting that, I'm meeting more and more people who are wanting to share this and help other people understand this and create that self-awareness as an act of service. There's nothing, there's nothing in it that is, another agenda. It's about helping people be free of their limiting beliefs or understand them and just do it anyway. So how does the art come in for you? You spend your days coaching people and helping them to create this self-awareness and expand forward. And then you've got this beautiful art that you create. Tell us how that's come about.
Yes, absolutely. And art is my true passion. I love that. And so with art, you do your greatness readings, I do the greatness readings, and what happens is that there are things that people really resonate with. That hey, I really love that, and that is truly me. That is powerful, and that is me. And when you pick up on those highlights, I use those beautiful highlights to create art out of this. And the way those art is created is that I use neurographic drawing. Now, this neurographic art itself is actually a coined term. And that's basically when you're using subconscious mind or like your higher self or your true self to create art out of it. And it can be anything, right? It can be it might, to a normal person, it might look as an abstract, but the person that who it is for, it's actually very meaningful, right?
Right.
And those meanings are actually their greatness. And the way, and if I'm able to create that greatness readings into a form of art, and they are able to see that, it is a trigger. It is a trigger, and we all want that trigger, right? We all want that trigger to, hey, don't choose that, choose that, right? And when you have something, when you as an innate person, innately you are great. But when you have something physical in front of you as a piece of art, it's actually beautiful. You know, it's mind blowing that there is something out there that is you. Your spirit is in that art. Your power is in that art, and that is you. That is an extension of yourself as an art. And when you're looking at that, it triggers you to be in your greatness. It triggers you to get out of your ego, neutralize your ego, and be in your true nature and purpose. And that's what my purpose is again, in this life, to create more and more art for people to know that this is what they're here to do, that this is their greatness, right? And out of that greatness, they can create whatever they want. And yeah, so that's my purpose in art form.
So the artworks that you create for the people you've read for are like a visual representation of what you see, what you connect with, their energy and their
Yes.
their truth.
Yes, absolutely. That's right.
And your process for that, do you feel like that's when you're drawing, I imagine that, you're able to step aside from what your mind's telling you and just, channel it and let it flow. How do you create? Is it big, massive creations or pieces of paper, or, how do you like to express yourself or let yourself go when you're creating your art?
Yeah. The first thing is actually stepping into their energy. So yes, once you step into their energy, you do the readings, you get to know what it is about, and then those highlights, when I'm in front of the paper, when I'm in front of the canvas, I tune into those highlights and I tune into that person. I'm unaware of what this greatness entails for them, of what this will take them, what path this will take them. But I know that this is them, right? And when I tune into those energy, you get symbols, you get things that um, signify what that word means, right? And using those symbols to create a form of art. And it is, as I said, like it can be super abstract, right? But this is what it means, right? This is what it means, and um and as much as I can try and layer it on a piece of canvas, I do it.
Yep.
And then my goal is that so the way I do it is that I tune into all those highlights. I see what the symbols are. I see what it means. I see what each of them look like, and then merging them together. See what I can do, merge them, play around with them, and then based on that, the size of the canvas is chosen, and then see how it fits with it, and then it just comes up to be. And it's a very natural process. To be honest, I don't put myself into it much. It is all of their energy that I'm using.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it is their creation, right? They have come to me to create this, right? I am a process.
Yeah, okay.
Creating it, right? So I am tuning into their energy to create what they want. So that's what the process is about.
Yeah. Okay. So you're the conduit or the channel for that
Yeah,
information.
absolutely.
And I looked at some of your artworks and I really felt that, the fire and the passion and like the immense energy in them, and also tuned into this feeling like there was a sound or a tone behind it all. Do you, obviously art is a very visual thing, but as you're receiving this energy and this information, you're saying you're receiving symbols? Are you also hearing sounds, or what else is a part of that process? If you could possibly deconstruct it any further.
Yeah. So what symbols, or what even so it's not just symbols, it's also thoughts and feelings that come up, right? And at the end of the day, it's what that symbol triggers, right? That symbol triggers a thought or a feeling, right? That's how humans perceive anything, right? It has to be, a symbol does not like say anything unless it has a meaning to it, unless it has a thought or a feeling provoked out of it. So I'll listen to those. I'll listen to that symbol and what it's telling me, what thoughts are getting created, what it's making me feel. If it's for an example, if it's a leader, right, I get a symbol, and is that triggering a thought, a feeling of what leadership means to me? Um, and I'm sorry, what leadership means to that client, right? And if that does, then yes, it is going in the art. Right? It is going, and and at the end, once that art is created, I do write up a blurb, which actually tells them the meaning of what it is. And a lot of times, I've given the art, and people are able to easily resonate with what's out there,
Yeah.
right? It's almost like they know it, what things are there, and how is it them, and
Right.
and the blurb is just to help them. It's a blurb is just a form of a written language to know them, know what it is, but it's about what it's making them feel. Right?
Yeah.
Is it triggering their greatness? Is it triggering them to do what they're here to do and the action that they want to take?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful and a beautiful gift. And I imagine that, people who receive that are changed and, very, very blown away by that. So I want to take a little bit of a detour and talk about animals. You have a beautiful cat.
Yes.
Who I'm sure is some kind of energetic companion. Like I see pictures of your cat and I think, okay, this cat's here for a purpose as well, to walk with you and be with you. But you also do some animal communication and work with animals.
Yes.
Tell us
Yeah.
about that.
So one of the other choices, the purposes I have is actually conserving the wildlife, conserving its incredible beauty, right? It is it is a purpose for me to help in whatever way or form I can. And because it doesn't matter what living thing, it's a plant, it's an animal, human, everyone has a spirit, everyone is here to do something. Everyone has a purpose out here, and that's what I do. I did the greatness readings on my cat. I do the greatness readings on other animals to understand what they are here to do. And when you tune into them, you are able to create form of art as well. And that's what I did for Zuko, my cat. And that's what it is about all animals. And unfortunately, a lot of them are getting injured. And one of the purposes for me is to actually help them. So I am volunteering for an organization called Medical Pantry. So that is all about supplying medical equipment, anything related to medicine to help them, right? And it's all for free to organizations that are not able to afford them. And um, currently in Australia, all uh, all the hospitals, all the big organizations are wasting 30% of their equipment, 30% of their supplies, and that's just going into bins.
Wow.
So what the medical pantry is doing is that they are actually taking those items and they are taking and helping the ones who are in need, right? Like wildlife sanctuaries, pet carers. There are so many private pet carers who've got like their backyard full of all animals, and they love helping those animals, but they don't have enough money to, help them.
Right.
And that's what Medical Pantry is doing to help those people, those organizations, those sanctuaries, those wildlife rescue organizations uh, for free to help them with whatever medical items that they need to help those animals uh, to come back to life, to come back to their own wild self, to come back to their nature and purpose, true nature, what they are here to do. And yeah, I love doing that. That's seeing that brings a lot of joy, and yeah, that's where my connection with animals are.
Beautiful. I know there's loads of research out there about the positive effect and impact that pets and animals have on mental health, and working with large animals like horses is something that's renowned for having great impact on things like PTSD and other forms of trauma and anxiety and depression. And I know just having a pet in the house, I have a small dog, and just having that presence in the house, it's kind of reassuring, and it's someone to talk to if there's no one else around. But I do pick up on that, that feeling and that idea that she has her own purpose outside of being, a family pet. I feel like she's on her own little mission, and and I enjoy wondering about what that is. So perhaps I shall tune in and do a greatness reading and find out a little bit more. But for now, she's having a sleep in the sun, and she's quite happy listening to our chat.
That's it. That's what we want, them to enjoy their life.
So for you, having this ability, and now that you know how to tap into this awareness of yourself and your purpose and where you're going, it's very hard to project into the future and say this is where I'm going to be in 3 years or 5 years or 10 years. But what do you see as being the next most obvious and significant steps for you in terms of expanding your service to help others? Where do you hope to be going in the near future?
Yeah, absolutely. In the near future, I think with the purposes, with the choices, the goals that I have, it's not about success anymore. Success is very short-lived. It has a tune to it that is very attractive. But I see that success is actually in living it. So it's then it's not short-lived, right? It is always there, right? It's your true nature and purpose is what we've been discussing. And in the near future, in the 3 years, 5 years, my purpose is to keep living what I'm living, right?
Yeah.
Keep doing what I'm doing, keep helping. If it's the animals, if it's art, if it's property flipping, if it's coaching, keep doing what I'm doing. However, the purpose is to keep pruning myself, to
Right.
keep perfecting it. And of course, we know there is two parts of it. Like perfection does not exist, right? But practice makes man perfect. What my objective is to try and hit the middle of those two,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Keep practicing, keep practicing, keep that precision, keep practicing. I know that perfection does not exist. I'm aware of that. But keep pruning, keep practicing, because if you keep doing that, you are living what you're living, because you are on that journey. And journey is much more beautiful than the end, right? Because end is very short-lived. So enjoy the journey. And in the near future, my purpose is to keep living it, keep pruning it,
Yeah.
keep doing what I'm doing, keep evolving, because my goals, my choices are going to evolve more and more, right? They're going to be more and more different, more and more purposeful, more and more stronger. And I'm excited to see what comes.
Wow. I love how open to possibility that is, because I think you're right. Like that notion of perfection, it's like a destination, it's an endpoint. I've perfected this, I'm now perfect, or this is now perfect. Whereas what you're saying, practice is living a life of mastery and mastering what you're doing and continuing to do it. It all sounds very expansive, and it feels, very, very heart-centered and very purposeful. And I definitely connect with that energy in you when we chat and when we catch up, is that sense of I'm just going for it, and I understand this now, and that joy and freedom that comes with that. So I'm really it's so great to know that people like you are out there doing this and supporting others to be in that space. And I know that, we're seeing things happening in the world at the moment that are, not ideal. There's lots of conflict and there's lots of challenging situations. And I know you're caring for the environment. I know you're caring for animals, and encouraging people to be in this creative space. What's the one area, I guess, in the way that society is structured at the moment that you would like to see the most change in this near future?
Very good question. I think about it. The biggest change that would I would suggest is just knowing yourself, is that awareness. So yeah, the issues are all around the world. Like I said before, it's those conflicts. Those are all egos playing. Everyone's egos are playing in the middle, and everyone wants to topple or win over something. And the reason to win over something is because there is something empty inside, right? They're trying to fill the cup of, oh, I feel insignificant, or I don't feel powerful, I don't feel deserving, and I need to do something that will make me feel X, Y, and Z. But if you're aware that this is false, then you don't need any of these false things. So I feel the biggest change is in knowing themselves, in being aware. So yeah, that would be a huge gift to the world. Just knowing yourself
and being more heart-centered and following.
and
Yeah. All right. Well, it sounds like you're on a mission. So I'm sure that's going to keep you very busy and keep you creating for a good long time. And I look forward to hearing how this evolves and how you expand. And I'm sure we'll see your art and your impact in the world out there. So I want to thank you for just, sharing with us today and inspiring us. And I will let everybody know where they can get in touch with you or how they can find out more about you. But thank you so much. And I look forward to us catching up again in the future.
yes, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Abiza. Bye.